What are we going to get into today? Well, here's my idea. I wanted to make a bourbon mainly from the grocery store. Just the ingredients I can get from the grocery store. I wanted to keep the cost as low as I can. But most important, I want some good bourbon. And you ought to stick around to the very end, and I'll let you know what the cost of the ingredients that I bought for this bourbon. But first things first, welcome to Stillworks and Brewing. My name is Randy, and this is a channel all about home distillation and brewing. Okay, so what do I need? Well, since it's a bourbon, I'm gonna need corn. And I like to get something to help me with the rye end of it, and maybe some wheat. I couldn't really think of anything barley-wise, but we'll figure it out. So what I'm going to do is let me go to the grocery store, and I'm going to figure out what I can do, and then I'll be back, and I'll show you what ingredients I found. Okay, so I'll be back in a while. Grocery store. Prices are getting high. Anyway, let me let you know what I've found. And but first, what are the ingredient rules for bourbon? Well, of course, the main rule is it has to be at least 51% corn, and the rest of it could be any grain that you want. So, what did I find? Okay, so the first thing I wanted to find out about was the corn. I checked out corn flakes, and if you've seen the price of cereal lately, cereal is out of this world. So the best thing I found, and I've used this before, was cornmeal. It was really inexpensive, so I bought 5 packs of cornmeal, and they're 2 pounds each. So that's 10 pounds of corn. All right, that's going to be good. All right. So the next thing I wanted in there is I wanted some wheat. Well, I found these store brand shredded wheat. And they are just a hair over 1 pound each, so that's 2 pounds of shredded wheat. That'd make some good bourbon, won't it? Okay, and of course, we need a little bit of rye in there, right? Just for a little spice, I bought 1 loaf of rye bread. All right, and just in case I need it, and I probably will use some, I bought me a couple bags of sugar just in case I need to boost, because I want to be somewhere between 1.090, I don't want to be no more than 1.090, but if I come up with 1.075 or in between there, I'd be happy with that. So I can back myself up with a little sugar. I ain't sure how much I'll use. We'll figure that out. Okay, so I think this is going to make a fantastic bourbon. And so let me get set up. I got to get some water heating up. Oh, how am I going to convert this sugar? This corn? That's a very important thing, because normally I would use a malted barley to convert the starches in this sugar over to corn. The starches over into fermentable sugars. Yeah, your B. All right. So what I'm going to use, and which we use a lot, is your high temperature alpha amylase and the gluco amylase. This one you can put in at I think 190 degrees. It's best from 150 to 190. Okay, it has 2 teaspoons per 5 gallons, so you don't use very much. And then right before you pitch the yeast, you use the gluco, right? And it's 1 teaspoon per 5 gallons. And you don't use very much of that either. Okay, so that's our plan. All right, so what I need to do, like I said before, let me get some water heating up. So I want to get it to boiling. I want to boil some water. Then we'll mix in the corn, and we're going to let that cook for a while to get them starches released from that corn, okay? All right, so let me get set up, and then I will be back. All right, this is going to be fun. Basket in my mash tun here. It's time for me to put a little bit of boiling water in here. We're just going to start cooking that corn. So I'm going to just put me a couple, I'll put me some scoops of water in there. Fogging my glasses up. Guess I could hook my pump up, I just didn't. Couple more. Okay. Let's start mixing. Oop, can't wear them. I'm going to start mixing my corn in so that it can start to cook. And cornmeal is basically it's not flour, but it's ground, but it's not flour. So, but I don't want to clumps or stuff like that. I want to try to get it all mixed in. So I might have to put a little bit more water in here. It clumps up very easy. And if it's not wet, it won't work, will it? I'm glad the weather's starting to cool up a little bit. It's hot today, not like it's been a month or so ago. Remember how hot it was? Ooh. It was brutal working out here in the brew house. Well, that's one. We got 4 to go. I've used cornmeal before, and it works out great. You have to stir the heck out of it, get it all. You might have to add a little more hot water. Because it will get pretty thick here shortly. This would be good bourbon, I do believe. Three more to go. I'd move the camera over here, but it just fogs up the lens and you can't see nothing anyway. Two more. And you know me, I do love bourbon. Ooh, I'm gonna need some more water. This get thick. Okay, well, it's pretty thick. All right, I want to check what's the temperature of it is. And it is 167. Okay, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do is, tastes like corn. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to add in my high temperature enzymes because it's a good temperature and that'll really help thin this up. So I want 2 teaspoons per 5 gallons. So that's almost 10. I'm going to go 4 teaspoons. So let's go with 4 teaspoons. And 1 for good measure. And I'll give that a quick stir. And I'm going to put a cover on this. There it is. I'm going to put a blanket on this. All right. And we're going to let it sit there and do its thing. I think I'm going to even plug this up. All right. I'm going to give it about an hour. Let it do its thing for an hour because I got some stuff I got to do. Okay, so I'll be back in an hour. Oh, yeah. Nice and running. See? All right, so what I'm going to do, give it a good stir. It's nice and it's getting nice and thin, yes. All right, one thing I got to do is we got to double check the temperature of it. And we are looking at 160, 163. Okay. That'd be good. So now I am going to mix the rest of the ingredients in. All right. So we're going to put some wheat in. This gives a little wheat flavor. Just kind of crunch it up. All right. I couldn't believe what the price of bread is. The price of bread is getting terrible. All right, there's one. I wouldn't mind trying to make a whiskey out of maybe some of the sugary cereals, you know, like Fruit Loops stuff. That might be interesting. Okay, box 2 in. I mean, it is getting thin, beautiful. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, just for a little bit of rye, I'm going to add some rye bread. I'll be curious to see what the starting gravity is going to be. But we'll all find out here shortly. All right, so let me get this good mix in. All right, what I'm going to do is put the lid on this. And I'm going to give it another hour. Okay? And then we'll come back and we'll do the next step. Okay? So let me set my timer for another hour and we'll be back. And what sparging is just we're going to flush the sugars. Oh, by the way, I did do a starch test, so I know it was done. So what we're going to do is sparge it over. We're going to drain it off. And then I'll put more water in here. And we'll do it again until we get everything washed out. All the sugars washed out of that. It ain't working. It's been a little difficult to try to get through that fine screen on my basket. But I guess I'll get there. And the problem is that cornmeal's it's a lot finer than I'm used to. But like I said before, I have made bourbon from cornmeal and it tastes fantastic. So I'll keep stirring here until I collect up and try to drain this off. And once I get up to 6 gallons, then I'll be done and I'll be ready to move to the next step. See what our SG is. And we are looking at 1.050. All right, well, that's a little bit on the low side for me. So what I'm gonna do, let's try. I'm gonna mix a bag of sugar into it. I was kind of thinking, and that's why I went with the sugar, or bought some. So let me get a stir stick. All right, let me put you. The sugar should melt pretty good. I hope I didn't fill my fermenter up too much. Let's check it again. Oop. Gotta clean this off. .080. I'm gonna leave it right there. 1.080. That is fantastic. All right, so what I'm gonna do. Ooh, what is my temperature? I think it's gonna be a little bit too hot. Yeah, it's 120, 130 degrees. All right, so what I'll do is I'll put this in my fermentation room, and then I will come back either later tonight or first thing in the morning, early in the morning, and add my yeast to it. I just gotta let it cool down below 90 degrees. Okay, so let me get that moved in there, and then I get the fun job of cleaning up. And I did make a mess today. That's normal. That's me though. I'm good at making messes. All right, so that's about all you're gonna see today. I think it's going to turn out pretty tasty. The only thing I might do is put a blow-off tube on this, because I got a funny feeling, because I filled it up a little too high, that I might get a mess. So I'll put a blow-off tube on it, so if it does want to blow off, it'll just blow off into a jar or something. And it'll save me a lot of mess, right? Okay, so now the hard work's all over with. What kind of numbers do we got? All right, so I wrote them all down. All right, so the cornmeal, I used 5 packs at $1.79, so they gave me a total of $8.95. The loaf of rye bread was $3.99, which is a little high, ain't it? So the total is $3.99. The wheat, I had 2 boxes at $2.99, so that equals $5.98. And the sugar, I used 1 bag, which is 4 pounds. And that was $3.49. All right. So the total cost, well, the total cost of the ingredients was $22.41. Now I didn't put the yeast in there, and I didn't put the enzymes in there. It's gonna be that's for low cost. I mean, if you put, if I put $1 in there, it'd be a lot. But anyway, so with that all being said, at $22.41. I usually get 5 bottles, 5 750-liter bottles. I usually get 5, pretty close to that. And if you did the math on that, each one of those bottles is going to cost me $4.48 each. Now, I know you all know what the price of bourbon is. Oh yeah, the only other thing I will add is the little bit for oak chips, which is, and I'm saying them prices ain't much. But anyway, so if I could get them for $5 a bottle for bourbon that tastes good, how can you go wrong? You know what I mean? Now, you got your own blood, sweat, and tears in it, but you know what? It's a labor of love, right? All right, so I just wanted to throw the numbers out there. I would like to do a cost comparison maybe with when doing all grains. If you watch your grains, if you can buy grains in a 55-gallon sack, if you're going to make a lot of bourbon, you can really get that cost down even more than that, I believe. I have to do a cost comparison on all grain bourbon. But this is our grocery store bourbon. I like to believe it's going to turn out real well. So next week what we'll do is it should be about done and we can distill that out. And once we get it distilled out and aged a little bit, we'll be able to give it a taste test, okay? All right, that's what I just wanted to come out with. Wanted to show you. I guess the last thing I got to say is, hey, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time here on Stillworks and Brewing. Cheers, everybody.